Yo, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Mob Collectibles, Ryan. I am back. I know we haven't done a stream in I don't remember how long. It's been a few weeks. I normally do them on Sundays, but I had a lot of family stuff come up and just doing some stuff personally. So I'm trying to cram a stream in. So I know it's Friday, off schedule. We are here with the boys, CMB and the Hot Toys Nightmare. How are you guys doing?
Awesome.
Yeah, how are you doing, Sean?
You know what? I am great. Welcome, everyone, to another production of Bearded Bear.
Bearded Bear Productions. I love it. I love it. Like I said, don't expect a lot of people to be watching, but I just wanted to put a stream out there, honestly, because I just haven't had a chance to really talk to Sean or CMB. And there's a lot of stuff that came out this week. We had the Sideshow Con, or that was last week. And then we had the Monday drop with a bunch of stuff, and then we had the Hong Kong show, the Hot Toys show yesterday. InArt did a show today, so there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And to be fair, I'm not going to pander the audience and pretend, hey, let me give you my thoughts. You guys have been watching this stuff all week. Everybody and their mother is streaming, putting out videos, giving you their reactions. I just wanted to cram in like an hour. We'll do like an hour and 15 minutes or so like that. I got some stuff to do tonight. Give the guys gives the guys some break. But I just want to get the guys together and just have a chat and just go over stuff. Kind of just our overview. Kind of do like an overview of everything. I got MRC put out a video of him walking around the show floor. And so we'll just kind of play that and talk about some stuff. And then for those who haven't seen, Hot Toys put out a video today with Howard Chan with the Joker, kind of going over some stuff. And I wanted to talk about some takeaways. I know the guys here have seen the video, so I kind of want to talk about that because Howard Chan brought up a couple key points that I thought were interesting, and I kind of want to share some thoughts about that. And then we'll go over the photos, because there definitely was some differences. I don't know if you guys saw it between the prototype photos of like the Joker and what we saw on live here. So there's definitely been some changes along with Anakin. So we'll go over that. And then finally, InArt had an event today showing off some stuff. Superman, Michael Jackson. Can't deny, I kind of like what I see, but I got to see more. So we'll kind of close out with that. And then, we'll sprinkle in some questions because this high-end stuff, I mean, everyone's feeling it with these exclusive figures, paying aftermarket prices. I put out a video like 2 days ago about the Joker, what does it mean for collectors? And we'll kind of have a conversation about that stuff going through. But let me pull up, let's just see who's in here, see some people trickling in. Insane One, as always, I hope you're doing great, my friend. Payden23, good evening. How are you, my bud? How are you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Jared, it's good to see you. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing great. The Collector, Popcorn as always. Hope you enjoy the show. Boba Fettuccine, hope you're doing great, man. Hey, yo, Boba, I actually saw you on, who was it? Collector Joey. I don't know if that was your debut stream appearance, but if you guys check out Collector Joey, Boba Fettuccine actually makes his appearance with a pretty kick-ass beard. Puts mine and Sean's to shame, I must say. Boba Fettuccine is like the Bearded Bear 2.0. He's like ZZ Top, if I correct. And so it's good to see you on there, Boba Fettuccine. The Collector just talking through. Joshua saying my wallet took a beating today. Mine did too, in more ways. Yeah, it was pretty rough today. Tyria's here. Hope you're doing great as well. They have the heat, yeah. And then Don Prime, what up, all Don? Don, I think aren't you in Boston? At a Comic-Con? Aren't you at a con in Boston? I believe. Hope you're doing good. I think you have something like that going on this weekend. I'm not sure. Don Prime, I did get your package, Don. I did get it. I didn't get a chance to open it. I'm sorry about that. My wife thought it was another Hot Toy. My wife was slightly pissed when she saw another package with your name on it, and she was asking me what it was. I said, no, it's not Hot Toy related. I didn't pay for it. It was something nice. It was all good, man. So I do appreciate it. I'll probably try to open it up tonight, and thank you, Don. I appreciate it. Collector Joey, what's going on, man? How are you? Thanks for jumping in. Like I said, Boba Fettuccine was on your channel. I was catching a little bit of your stream the other night, going over everything. Hope you're doing great. Yep, the beard is supreme. Yes, I would agree with that. CSI Grissom, I hope you're doing great, man. Thank you so much for being here. Collector Joey's Boba is fire. That is correct. Yes, it was. Keith is here. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. Evil Sneaker, what up, y'all? Boba is the dude. Had a blast with him on stream. Yeah, he looked like chill as hell, man. Looked like a good time to me, man. It looked like a great conversation. Jared says, I'm on my way to the movies. Just want to jump in and say hi. What's everyone? Have a good stream. See y'all next time. What are you going to see, Jared? You're going to go see Barbie, or was it Oppenheimer? Was that what's going on? Those are the two biggest movies that are going on right now. And so let us know what you're going to go see. Drop it in the chat and let's see what's going on. But anyway, guys, we'll jump right into it. And as people trickle in, I'll shout some more people out. MRC put up a video. Like I said, there's been a bunch of videos. I was trying to find the best ones that had quality and things like that to it. MRC's is a pretty good condensed version. And I just want to open it up, man, and have a conversation. So, like, we'll just let this video play out. We see stuff with the Joker, and we'll focus in on some more key things as it plays out. But, I mean, like, CMB and Sean, and like I said, I want you guys to speak more than me because I hate hearing myself talk a lot. But, you know, initially... two questions. I'll ask either one of you can go. On Monday, when Hot Toys dropped like those 8 figures, right? Were you kind of surprised about that many? I mean, I knew we were gonna get some drops, but what kind of like either surprised you or got you most excited out of those 8 drops that we got on Monday between the Root Joker, the Anakin, the Spider-Man, all that stuff? Like, what initially got you? Like, you were like the Mark 7. What were you most excited about out of all that stuff first? No, Sean, you can go.
Okay, so out of all that, you know, I do like Anakin. I'm going to order the sculpted Joker, but the Mark 7 with Tony was actually the one I pre-ordered today, the one that I did want. I've wanted something like that for a while, especially with the Black Sabbath t-shirt. I wish it came with a separate head sculpt, though.
Yeah.
Because kind of like how we were talking about last night with the wind blowing in the hair from falling off the building, you know, and then one where he's normal going through bashing people on the helicarrier or going on and talking shit to Loki. But outside of that, you know, I'd be happy with it. The other stuff I didn't really care for. No, I mean, out of everything that's been teased, though, the thing I'm most excited to see get it officially announced, if it will be, is the Dewback.
How many of those are you going to get?
2.
You are going to get 2. Of course. I love it. CMB, what about you, man? What were you out of the drops? We're going to talk about this stuff separately, but from Monday, of the things that were released from Sideshow, what got you kind of most excited from what you saw?
I guess it would have been the Anakin and the Joker. And then when I found out that it's going to be super limited to each region, kind of lost all that excitement.
Well, that's what
There's that. I think so far the only thing I'm really excited about the whole thing overall was John Wick and Kane.
Yep, and then that moved us into this event, right? So
yeah,
I know you've been
I'm just disappointed with the whole. You know, I think that's Artisan direction that they're taking is pretty cool. I'm just disappointed that we're gonna have to fight for the lotto system and all that crap.
Well, so let me ask you a question. So that's something that I've seen on stream. I've seen a lot of people talk about, right? Collectors and stuff. You get that fair share of people that want exclusivity. You know, exclusivity. You know, whether it's just they want to have something that's limited, so to speak. How do you guys feel about that as a whole? And seeing what we see now, and I don't know how many people in the live chat are seeing it, but I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, I guess this will be the common thread woven throughout the stream in regards to like Hot Toys and InArt. I mean, the one thing that I've said about the Hot Toys Joker, for example, is that they kind of set the precedent in terms of exclusivity. You kind of expect the price to go up on the figure because they limited it to 4,000. The problem is, and you know, we don't have to really go through pricing, but like Sean, we were just talking about it backstage. You got a price from someone, which we won't disclose who, but I mean, they gave you a price on the Joker for like $640. Like Anakin, $640. But the Joker's trending relatively within, I'd say, margin $100, give or take, a little less or not. So, you know, that being said, with the exclusivity, I mean, how do you think that's going to be for collectors going forward in terms of like, this is what it's going to be? And, you know, I'm not trying to be like Scrooge, like you guys got what you wanted, but I kind of hope that with the exclusive figures, like maybe we only get like a handful of them a year. That way people can like kind of breathe with these things. because if you do want to chase them in the aftermarket, you could be paying a good amount of money. You really could be. And also, you know, they're gonna use, the problem is they're gonna do it on characters that people really want. Like, you know, eventually you think you're gonna get a Tony Stark rooted. You know, you could get possibly a John Wick down the road, things like that. Like, you know, like Sean, like you see what's going on. Like, for example, Sean, and I'll let you go. Like, my mindset on Monday, right? I was on Denobi stream. I think it was like Saturday night or whatever it was. We were talking about the Joker not too long ago with Nate. And I was like, you know what? I mean, the Joker for Hot Toys, it's going to double in price at the time because they set the bar saying, hey, there's going to be 4,000. So right off the bat, when there's 4,000, that kind of puts FOMO into people. Hey, I want this. I'm going to pay a price for it. But as things progressed, now the scalper market is kind of taken that and, you know, taking the horse by the reins, and that kind of driven it, because now look at these prices that you're seeing, $600-700 that people are paying for these figures. And this is probably what it's going to be going forward if they keep up this exclusivity thing. So do you think that that's going to be something that's going to be, you know, how do you think that's going to handle going forward for Hot Toys? Do you think they're going to give a crap basically about this and it's just going to be what it is, fight it out? Or do you see Hot Toys possibly making changes to stuff, maybe upping the availability, maybe changing the lottery system? Because that's something that people also don't know, is that they changed the system that they normally do to get these figures, how it's more like a random lottery versus it is, you know, something else. So, like, Sean, what are your feelings about that? Especially now knowing what you just found out backstage, that, like, damn, you got a price on the Anakin for like $650, basically.
So basically, this is my thing. Like, I don't care about rooted hair, and I never really have. When they started doing female characters with the sculpted hair, I was actually happy about it. So I'm not going out of my way to try and get the Joker with the wool rooted hair at all, because there's a sculpted version there. I'm disappointed at the fact that there's no sculpted hair for Anakin. There's no version like that. So we have to go with the wool. And I'm a big Star Wars collector. So I want to go after it and try and get it and secure one. Yeah.
Now, do you have, real quick, do you have an Anakin light side or dark side? I'm just asking.
I used to, but I sold them.
Okay, so you don't have anything
like years ago. So I have the Clone Wars. I have the regular version and the one on stab. But that's it. You know, so it's like something to think about, you know, regarding like the price for that. You know, and that's like, I'm not going to say from who, and I'm not bashing them or anything at all. You know, I have no idea what's fully going on over there. I don't know all the story. You know, there's rumors going around that some people are paying $200 just to put a ticket in to try and do a raffle and something like that. So if that's where, you know, the whole price is coming in for, I completely understand it. On that aspect. But on another aspect too, is looking at it, and if this is how Hot Toys is going with it, I have a feeling it's just going to cause more frustration in the community. I never cared about the amount of exclusivity where no one can't get anything. I never cared if I had something and somebody else did. You know, I'm okay with my collection and somebody having the same things and everything. So I was never one of those like, oh yeah, I have this. You know, I'm so glad you don't. I've never been that type of collector.
Yeah.
So I do think it's cool, and I have bragging rights to say how big my display room is. I mean, that's one thing I do have.
And you have a lot of clones. You are the clone master.
I don't know if that's hot or not. Wasn't that a website? Anyways. Yeah, it was. It was like a dating site in like 2005, right? Hot or not?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that was
that's
the
how Facebook
original.
got started.
Dude, that was the original swipe left, swipe right.
Yes, that's how Facebook actually was. Zuckerberg and all that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah.
So
Hot or not was fun.
But anyways, so now it's like, you know, I look around my collection. I have so much stuff that other people would be like, yo, wow, I never had a chance to get it because I never knew about Hot Toys. You know, and now it's like all these collectors are here. They're like, yeah, I really want Anakin, and that'd be great. But I'm not prepared in a position where I'm going to lose a friend over it.
The OG Tinder.
That's what I said.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I said the OG Tinder. Swipe left, swipe right.
No.
But yeah, it was. There's a lot of things that I think could change with everything going on. However, with all that being said, I am glad Hot Toys is taking a different approach, regardless if it's because of InArt or not, which I have my own opinion on that.
Do share when you want to.
It's, I'm glad Hot Toys is looking at different avenues, especially with bumping up the DX line. Because a lot of those things that we've received recently have not been DXs. We didn't need 2 different Ahsokas. We didn't need 2 Bespin Lukes.
Nope.
Dude, this is just the beginning of the new DX. You're gonna get DX Plus Pro, DX Plus Pro Max.
Just like the iPhone.
And then just DX Plus and then DX. That's what Nate and I were talking about. Is the new way to go. And, oh, you want that deluxe? DX Plus Pro Max edition.
Well, that's what's interesting about it, is that they had the Wonder Woman's not part of that DX. They started the DX with the Joker and the Anakin. That Wonder Woman falls under that 100th anniversary, right? Warner Brothers thing. So she's kind of, even though people are saying she's which is fair, like she is the first woven hair to see how it's going to go. I mean, it's a female, longer hair, so it's definitely going to be something different. It is their first test of what that is going to look like, out of the box, and how you have to style it and deal with it. So like I said, the person I was talking to that I have my reserved with, they said they're going to get more information about Wonder Woman roughly August 2nd is when there's going to be more information about, because originally I think we were talking about backstream, and I was letting people know originally Wonder Woman was possibly, the pickup date for her was possibly going to be the 28th, but that's in fact, it looks like to be just the start of this convention, if you want to call it that, or whatever it is. But like I said, I inquired about my Wonder Woman, and I was like, hey, what's going on with this? And they said that the 2nd is when they're going to have more information of an exact date, pickup, and things like that. So, but yeah, I kind of share the same sentiment. I mean, for me, I don't have Anakin, so therefore my thought process, I'm crazy. You don't have to, this is just, everyone has their own thought process of how they justify stuff. For me, I do want Anakin. I don't want Clone Wars. I don't want the staff. Like, I have the Attack of the Clones on order, the episode 2 version. I would like to have this version to go with a Vader, to have kind of like a nice little, like a little setup in my display.
An evolution.
Yeah. I'm not trying to make something, but nice little unintentional evolution. But yeah, I would want it. This is going to command a $350, $400 asking price on the market. So that's in my head where I'm at. I'm like, $400 is where I would get the old one from, the sculpted. Yes, I could try to go on Sideshow and get one. That's perfectly fair. Chances are the percentages of me not getting one are obviously higher than acquiring one. I have been unsuccessful previously. So therefore, if I'm at 400, basically the way I look at it is, how much more of a threshold am I willing to add on top of that? I know it sounds crazy, but how much more am I willing to add another 200 on top of that? So I'm at 6. Is that my cap out? Is that where I'm at? Am I willing to pay 100 more? Like, I'm trying to be realistic, saying, I understand like the leather goods aren't there, but for me, I don't have the figure. If I had this figure already and sculpted, I'd be absolutely less interested in going after this. So for me, it's a brand new figure. I've never had the experience before. So like, I'm weighing that as part of my decision-making process. That's just me though. That could be totally asinine. Like, you look at me and say, Ryan, that's so stupid. Okay, that's fine. It's my money and it's not yours. But that's my thought process. Is if I wanted to get one on the market, I'm probably putting out $350, $400, PayPal fees, all that shit. That's where I'm probably at already. So then why not spend a little extra more if I have the means to do so, to get the new, which is this right here. CMB, I'll throw it to you, but then I got one more thing, is that I was a little on the fence about this, and I was talking to Nate this morning. It does bother me a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm the advocate of Hot Toys can do what they want. Hot Toys doesn't owe the collecting community anything. Like, people sometimes, I think, get a little entitled and are like, oh, well, Hot Toys can do whatever they want. They're a privately owned company. They're going to continue making figures it doesn't matter what we say, really. They're going to do what they think is best. That being said, I was a little bummed out where the Joker, we got the sculpted and the rooted, and Anakin, we just got the like the Joker, they showed their hand. If you don't get the rooted, you can always just you have a Joker. You can get the sculpted, like you have a default option. But with Anakin, it's basically feast or famine. And I was kind of like, damn, that kind of sucks. Which leads me to wonder, could we see an updated sculpted 2.0? And this is an original, it's not an original thought, it's been said before, but could we see a 2.0 sculpted down the road? You know, that's a possibility. So that was kind of my decision-making process on whether or not I wanted to chase Anakin on the aftermarket and secure one to avoid the chaos. But CMB, I'll throw it to you. You know, kind of like what I was talking to Sean about, what your whole, I know you said you were kind of bummed out about the exclusivity. How do you, I mean, from what you're hearing and what you're seeing on these aftermarket prices, and I know that that made you tap out respectfully, because, you know, an idiot like me would only pay that kind of stuff sometimes if it would. But, you know, where do you see that being, like, with Hot Toys going forward? Like, do you hope to see kind of, you know, it kind of stinks, right? Because you could be seeing some of your favorite characters fall under this DX exclusive brand, Artisan series, where you may only have that one chance of getting an updated version of a character that you really want. So kind of like when you're seeing the aftermath, like, you know, the 2 or 3 days after so far, like where's your head at in terms of, you think Hot Toys has to maybe go back to the drawing board and make some adjustments for future Artisan series figures, or are you kind of like, it is what it is, this is what they're going to do, and tough shit?
No, I was actually talking to Nate about this. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I was trying to remain hopeful in my thought process behind all this. I said, what if this is just because this is their introduction into a new line, that they're starting with the limited game, because from a business standpoint, you build that hype, that want, that desire to pick up the product. So they know that by creating that with their first run at this, their first figures, that they could get the entire allotment sold and it's good to go, which would give them the funds and the basically the data that they needed to pursue this line even further. So I was telling Nate, it would be cool if that's what they're doing, that maybe they're just testing the waters, they got the response that they wanted. So going forward, I mean, price tag is going to be price tag, but going forward, they might make more batches with future releases, because they probably were like, hey, you know, they probably did it like a double-edged sword. This is a new line. We don't know that there's going to be many people interested in it, so let's make it a low batch. But let's use that to our advantage and call it a limited run, so we can get some hype out there, some talk and discussion about all of this, to see if this is something we should pursue forward, which that's what I'm hopeful for. I'm hoping that they saw the Anakin and Joker hype and it's going around, that they're going to say, all right, our next figure going forward, we're going to open up the batch line to an extra 2,000 more figures.
Yeah.
So that way they can get more people into this. I mean, at the end of the day, limited or not, they're a business. And a business, yeah, they do limited runs because it generates hype and it gets discussion thrown out there, which gives them the PR. But it's not going to generate a bunch of money. Whereas, I mean, you could do a limited run of Anakin's. Let's say they're 400, which is, you know, there's $400 a piece, and they're doing like what, 4,000 Anakins. Yeah, you could do that every now and then as a limited run, but from a business standpoint, I could sell 4,000 at 400, or I could sell 8,000 at 400. I'm gonna make more if I have more. You know, the price tag doesn't matter. Obviously, it's the amount of figures that they drop that's gonna bring in the money. You know.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Because you could drop 4,000 Anakins at 400, but then your normal Tony Stark Iron Man goes for like 400 as well. But they make like 10,000 of those figures. Who brought in the most money at the end of the day? Was it your normal Tony Stark Iron Man, or is it going to be your limited run Anakin that you went balls to the wall with everything for?
Yeah. And if anyone, and to your point, Hot Toys, you know, they're not making money off scalping prices. So like, if like you said, you're doing the math, 400, you know, 4,000 at 400. That's what Hot Toys is making their money off of. They're not making it off of the scalper price of like 4,000 at 600. And that's, and you know, and I'm just saying, like, as a point, like, that's what, you know, that's where I'm wondering down the road. And, you know, you touched on something that's interesting that I think was brought up. I don't know if you caught it, and we'll play it in the video. it could be a hint at something like that. But I thought that also, like, they can still limit it to like 8,000 pieces and call it exclusive. You're just giving people more chance. Like, I'm okay keeping the exclusivity. Like, you know, I personally think that Hot Toys is, like you said, they're going to play it slow because they want to make sure they hit the ground running and have the right product out there with the rooted Joker and the Anakin. So I get it. If that's what they, I mean, who said this on stream? I forget who said it.
I was telling Nate too on his stream. I think the way to keep this, you agreed with me. I think the way to keep this Artisan program going too, like, where it's is like, you know, do 4 figures, like quarterly, like 4 figures a year, once a quarter, announce a figure, so that way, I mean, even if you did, let's say 10,000 of that figure, right? It's still going to be limited because after the 10,000 are sold out, that's it, you know? And the collecting game keeps growing and growing. Back in the day, 10,000 would have been like, oh man, that's way too many out there. You know, I don't feel like I have, you know, a custom or a limited product on my own. But as the community grows, even saying you have 10,000 out there, that's still going to be considered limited, because you have to imagine 10,000 figures. That's for Europe, that's for Asia, that's for the US. You know, it starts to dwindle down once you start adding in how many different countries are going to get the full allotment of the figures made.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, you know, keep it, if you want to keep it Artisan and super hyped up to where people feel like they're getting something limited, drop like 4 figures a year and make it, don't do like 4,000. You know, if you're going to do a limited Artisan run, still do like, you know, hell, 8 to 10,000 batch, whatever. Just do a normal batch.
I just think the only reason why they're,
you know, with the Artisan, just say you won't reissue the Artisan line whatsoever.
Well, I think that there may be also the reason why there's, you know, between 3,000 to 4,000 is because that's what Hot Toys is comfortable putting out production wise to maintain the quality. And then as they put these out and figure out what's going on, because the other thing that was interesting is that these have a year time frame, where Wonder Woman, that's what I'm really interested in terms of judging the quality on, is that Wonder Woman is like a 4-month window, 3-month window from, you know, pre-order to release. Like, she's slated to come out within 2 to 3 months, like a regular, you know, like a quick flip around. So it's interesting to see when that gets in hand, what that quality is going to be like. Was that rushed, or is that, you know, they just got it?
I don't think that it was rushed.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, that is that.
And these are in development for a long time.
Yeah, and these are but these have a year time frame on them. So obviously they're going to take their time with this. And if they're comfortable saying we can do production wise about 4,000, but you're going to have a banger of a figure, maybe in the next year they will have, you know, they can up it to 6,000, you know what I mean? And be able to maintain that quality going forward. And slowly they start kind of amping up, which is great. But you can still keep it, like you said, keep it restricted, you know, that exclusivity. Before we jump over to another video, watching these, I'm just kind of putting the replay back on. Sean, you're going through some of this stuff that you see here. And obviously this is the, you know, this is like one of the bigger videos that I saw. I'm going to scrub through it to where there's more Hot Toys, but like, when you're seeing this stuff, what got you excited seeing these videos of the event? Like, we got the Mark 7, you can see it fully open. What got you kind of excited seeing this stuff like on screen like this, that got you more amped up for what you saw?
The Predator.
Right.
Yeah, that got me more amped up. You know, I kind of expected the exposed joint for the knee, because that's how all the other Predators are, and I could see how hard and difficult it would be to not have the joints exposed like that. There's nothing you can do over it.
Unless put the Venom
material.
Yeah, the Venom body wrap, but I don't know. I don't think it would look right on the Predator for some reason. I think because I'm so used to seeing the Hot Toys, just the plastic bodies for the Predators, I think the Venom body would have made it look really weird.
But no, I like the whole entire, how they did the Prey. Looks good.
I think the Pharaoh. I wish they would have had 2 of them so we could have seen what he looks like under the biomass. Like how they did the 2 Jokers. They showed you the sculpted and the rooted. Or so you even see 2 figures at this event where it's, you know, different looks. I was wondering why they didn't do it with the Feral Predator, I guess to keep us more on our toes on what he's going to look like.
So if you guys got this, would you display this with the mask on or the mask off?
Mask on.
Mask on.
Mask on. Because I know this thing was an ugly son of a bitch. Scary as shit too. Yeah, it looks good with the mask on though. I like it. I like it a lot actually. Yeah, I'm excited about this because, you know, Predator is one of those lines, kind of like Aliens, Predator, and Terminator. I feel like are 3. I know this is Prey. It's not like the original, but nevertheless, I know that those 3 IPs are very much sought after in terms of wanting to get like 2.0s, reissues, or just updated, different characters or something like that. So I know those are very exciting for people to have.
See, and it's like, and the thing is though too is like I love all the Predator movies,
Yep.
but it's hard to say no to all the like statues that come out of Predator and the busts.
I know.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it, especially with how expensive they are. But I look at it like the people's reactions once they have them in hand and the effects, how you can see actual fish in the water for the land base for those things, and the detail, completely worth the price.
Now, was there anything else, Sean, that got you kind of excited aside from Predator, John Wick, or anything like that, or anything else?
No, I do like John Wick. I like Donnie Yen's character.
Yeah.
The Dewback is the thing I'm more excited for.
The Dewback.
And I really want the Death Star.
The Death Star gunner.
With his
control panel.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
That would be awesome too. But I could see them just coming out with maybe part of the panel and the trooper, and you'd have to buy like multiple troopers to complete that. I could see us getting that thrown at us.
Yeah. If we get that exact display like that, I'm definitely buying 2 of them. I already told Nate. He said I was crazy. I was totally buying 2 of those because I plan on the display you see behind me, kind of the way it is right now. I'd have one on one corner, and I'd have one all the way on the, like I'd have them up front, but I'd have them on like the column, like the corners of my display. I have them lit up, USB. Hell, I might even pull some Denobi tricks, and if that thing doesn't come up lit enough, might just put some lights in it myself, just light that sucker up.
Just get 2, and then buy some 1/6 Daft Punk figures. Boom.
There you go. But yeah, this is one of those. It's just, I mean, once again, credit to everyone saying, I called it. I mean, everybody's said in one form or another, we'd love to have Imperial officers, generic. I mean, I remember saying, I love to just have like no-name officers just to
That's
put
been
in the
on my wish list for many years on Geek
TIE fighter pilots, Rebel pilots, basically secondary, third characters that are not
filler characters.
Filler characters. Maybe people don't want to spend the money on that stuff, but a lot of us, like, as you build your collections, you're kind of like, man, I love to just have a couple Imperial officers in the background. Like, it just completes the collection. Or I like to have a couple of Rebel pilots just to complete the collection, And so I love this look. I love this. And I know it's been talked about many times. I mean, if you have the Han Solo in disguise, you could swap out him and put him in here and then use this guy for something else. I mean, the versatility is really, it unlocks your imagination.
And to be fair, most of those people were saying they wanted the Death Star gunner. This is a Death Star control trooper panelist thing. This isn't the gunner. The gunner has the full face helmet and almost the TIE fighter looking outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, another thing too is like we talk about that with the whole multiple Imperial troopers and everything else. Remember when Han Solo, the Mud Trooper version, came out? There were 2 different Mud Trooper versions that they were teasing with that.
Yep.
Not to mention the Mimban Stormtrooper. And we never saw any of those.
Never that. That's still in the coming soon graveyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it is.
Never say never, because they've gone back to that graveyard and pulled a bunch out.
Don,
real quick, if I can, if it's all right.
Yeah.
My friend Jared Bunnell, he's on Facebook. He's been doing custom Mimban Stormtroopers for years for people, where he 3D prints the helmet with the additional plate in front of it, and he actually goes through and paints them, and he does a really good job. So if anyone's ever looking for that, that's Jared Bunnell.
You got a Facebook? You got a link that you can drop in the chat?
I don't, not offhand.
No, that's fine. We always take it out. I got to stop short because Don Prime. It's early, but it's prime time. 7:34 right now. I hope Don's not. I hope it's Don's going nuts right now. He just threw up a $30 super chat right now. He said, give the family a pizza night. Don, we just finished having dinner, but we can use it for tomorrow. Don, I don't have words. Honestly, Don, you are a gentleman, a scholar, everything above. I really do appreciate it. You didn't have to do that. That's very generous of you. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm stumbling over my words. I say thank you. I can't say thank you enough. I do appreciate that, Don. Thank you. Let me see if what do we got here for some thank yous. I should hit you with a couple thank yous. No, I hit you with let's hit you with my daughter saying thank you, because I know you always get a kick out of my daughter.
Thank you.
Go. And then we'll hit you with a little bit of RoboCop. How about that one?
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
I'll buy that for $1.
And we'll complete the 80s with a little bit of Ghostbusters.
All right. Anything. Thanks so much. Thank you. Hope we can help you again. Coming through.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, if no one knew, the Ghostbusters movie officially got delayed because of the strike. I mean, not that this should
Aren't they in Europe right now filming?
I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, I thought they were in Europe filming right now.
No, they were filming a couple weeks ago. They did a lot of Ecto 1 stuff in New York. They finished that up though. It was like a month, like about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They finished that stuff.
Okay.
But
the funny thing is, they were close to finishing.
Very close. Like they were
and
close.
Then the strike.
Yeah, they did not have far long to go.
They were days away from calling it cut.
Yeah, they were not far away from that. Absolutely not. Don says we have a special on. Yeah, we have a charging special this week. We have a special on proton charging. There you go. And storage of the beast. And thank you. Like I said, Olga, brother, need to take care of one another. Absolutely. Like you said, thank you. We're all trying to take care of each other and get through crazy times, if that's the best way of saying it. Don, CMB. So I know that Prey. Am I too far-fetched to say Prey, John Wick, and Kane? Those are probably your favorites, so to speak, that really got you excited here. Was there anything else that kind of throwing a curveball that you saw was in person on the video and was like, oh damn,
the Praetorian Guard. I like the way the Praetorian. I mean, we already knew the Praetorian Guards were coming.
Yeah,
but I think they came out really well.
Also, Robo Kane too is nice too. What's his name? Gideon is nice too.
Yeah,
a lot.
I think they came out well. I really like the way that the red is, man. The red pops. Like I can just I picture it in my head in every person's display. Like that's what you're gonna see coming off the bat is that bright red.
I'm interested to know how it's going to be sold because, like I said, are these? Forgive me, I'll plead ignorance.
They're all different weapons.
All different weapons.
Look the same.
The guards they look the same, right? But physically, they do look a little. I mean, I can't tell, but the one to the far left looks a little pudgier. It could be just the way they're standing to the one in the center.
I think it's the way that they're standing. I mean, Nate and I were hoping that they'll do
different ones.
Nate thinks that it'd be cool to do a 3-pack.
Damn, he's nuts. And he'd buy 2 of them. That's the problem. Yeah,
I don't see that happening.
Let me ask you guys a question. Are these guards different than the ones from what movie were they in?
The Last Jedi, yes.
Yeah, are they different, stylistically, or are they the same guards?
No, they're different. The ones from The Last Jedi, they have the you know how the First Order, they have the inside parts like that ribbed material.
Yeah,
they have that ribbed stuff around their shoulders and their neck, and their helmets are different. Their helmets look like the Death Star helmets, where it's kind of coned in the front.
Yeah, there's 4 different versions of the helmets.
Yeah.
On there. So when you buy, the Hot Toys made 2 different versions, so the bodies are the same.
I did see
you have 2 helmets for each one, and so that way you could switch them around with different weapons and everything.
Yeah,
the Praetorian Guard, like this one, they're all the same outfit. Everything is the same. The only thing that differentiated them in the show was they each held a different type of weapon.
No, that's good because shout out to was it TK421 Collectibles if you on YouTube. He's a Star Wars channel, great content. I actually just watched the review of one of the guards that he got from the prequel series. I think it was I forget the date of the video. It wasn't recent. It was maybe a couple months ago, but I was just in that vibe of checking the guards out, and I did notice what you guys were saying. There's 2 different ones. But he had them side by side. He got one, and then he was getting the other one. So that was a good it was a good video. So I really but thanks for that guy. I didn't really know. Yeah, TK421, he is the best. Yeah. If you guys haven't checked him out, make sure to sub to his channel. Shout out to TK421 Collectibles. Anything and everything Star Wars. Pretty quick reviews, and his reviews they're good. They basically show you what you need to see, and enough detail there. I'm pretty excited. And it gets me excited because I've been watching his reviews. I just paid my Cad Bane invoice. I watched his review last week. It got me totally hyped for it. I was hoping to get Cad Bane, and I got the invoice today, paid it off, so I should have Cad Bane next week, and I'm very excited about that. But jumping through, and then I want to talk about some other stuff. I want to get kind of more in depth about the Joker and little things like that, and we'll have some fun. But John Wick, I mean, this is I'm so pumped for this, and I just got to say to the geeking out community, throw in the Hot Toys hotline community, because we're all one. We're all brothers here, and you know, trying to, you know, work through these collecting times, tough times. We said, didn't we all? I'm just saying, we as a collective group of people hold faith for John Wick. I know Nate was preaching it. CB, you were preaching it big.
Yep.
Everyone was upset, and I was talking to Nate about this on the phone. You know, at the end of the year, I know we go through like a lull with like content of like new releases. You know, what was that, December to January? When it's like the new year for, you know, New Year overseas, and so there's a lull. There's like 3 or 4 weeks of like no content. So Nate and I were talking about like, you know, we should do like a top 5. I know we talked about last year, but I wasn't really into YouTube as much now. And I was like, yo, we should do a top 5, like top 5 favorite purchases, top 5 shittiest purchases of the year, like duds, you know, and like this, that, and the other. And then we wanted to do, I had an idea of like, you know, we wanted to do one where it was like 2023, and I said it's the year of like faith. You got to have faith, because I mean, Sean, you've been collecting longer than I have, CMB longer than I have. For as long as I've been collecting Hot Toys, which is going into my, you know, 4th year, they are probably the most unpredictable as they've ever been since I've been collecting Hot Toys. I mean, in the past, I mean, you can kind of forecast, like if a show came out, yeah, you should be able to expect a Hot Toy within like 1 to 2 weeks before or after. You know, like they timed everything. But now I know the pandemic threw a wrench into stuff that changed up the plans. It did with all businesses. I get that. But I would say that 2023 Hot Toys has been their most unpredictable since I've been collecting, which made me ease up and become much more patient. Like, hey, listen, we get stuff. If we don't, we don't. You know, but like, this is a very good example. I can't tell you how many posts I saw on social media in the groups before, where people were like, what's going on? When are we going to get this? Do I got to shell out money for a custom Kane figure? What's going on with this? Blah, blah, blah. Everyone was like, hang out. You don't have to spend your money. You have to have patience. Just wait. You never know. You never know. And then look what we got rewarded with. Right, guys?
Yep.
I mean, that's just that. I'm just very, even if you're not a John Wick fan and you're not, hey, I'm not getting this, they at least, you see them in person now, finally. I mean, I know they were teased, they were taken down, but this just rewards faith for those who hung through and just waited, you know, really waited for this. I'm really happy for everybody. I'm definitely getting this, whether it's a single, 2-pack, I don't care. I'm buying both of them. I'm really excited for this. I got the part 2 John Wick, and I'm really excited. I know, I can't remember his name. CRO Customs, who made the John Wick, like the pencil and like the tactical belt and stuff. He reached out to me. He's like, I'm gonna have to make another tactical belt for this figure, because holy, I was like, yeah, dude, like get me down. Like, you want to make accessories again? Like, I know John Wick is one of his favorite characters, so I'm totally excited about this. That I'm so excited to see this come to fruition. That's my opinion. But do you guys have any final thoughts about this whole wrap up and everything like that? Like anything else before we jump into you know, I want to talk about the Joker next and show off a video that Hot Toys released today. Do you guys have any kind of closing thoughts on this event? I mean,
I mean, Wick and the Feral Predator from Prey, with many other figures, is just another prime example of everything we constantly tell everybody about. You know, other than just being faithful that it's coming, be patient. I mean, that is literally the biggest trait, skill, advantage, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to collecting. That's one of the biggest things to always take away, is having patience, because your patience will be rewarded.
mm-hmm.
You know, all those people who jump the gun and say, well, I can't wait, they're taking too long, and they go get third parties, or they go get customs, or they go and they kit bash. A lot of the times, those people end up disappointed, especially when Hot Toys ends up making the announcement of the figure that they couldn't wait for. Then they feel, well, damn, I just wasted my money getting all this, and now here you are dropping the figure I wanted. Now it's too late. I either have to, you know, buy the figure or stick with what I got. But I mean, if you just have patience, things always work themselves out in collecting, whether it's a figure coming, something getting fixed, whatever. It's just all about having patience.
Yep, I agree. Wise words, my friend. Wise words.
Yeah, it's 2023 has been completely unpredictable. But for Kane and Wick, I'm really excited for them to get it officially announced and then come out. I'm just
hey, it's
too many
Mr.
times where they've
figure.
shown stuff, and I'm just like, well, what the hell? You know, this event was the time to make an official announcement for it.
Mm-hmm.
So why not?
They delivered. Absolutely.
I mean,
and
they
just
teased it, but they haven't made the announcement for it.
That I agree with. I mean, obviously, to be fair to those out there, I do have to point out and have a disclaimer. Yes, there's been stuff that they've shown on display that they've never actually released. So yes, yeah, you know, I'm not. I'll pull back and say, am I 100% in? No, I got to be like 95% in that we'll see John Wick and Kane. Yes, to be fair, they have shown stuff. The N1. They've shown a lot of other stuff that we call the graveyard that still has never seen the light of day. I mean, that Death Star control station, it's been shown before. So I know people got all excited about it. I mean, so yeah, we do have to have a little bit of reservation, but it's completely okay to be excited to see this stuff.
I mean, like, I'm incredibly excited about the dewback.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that's the one thing out of everything that I do want.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with excitement. It drives your passion.
Hey man,
it helps fuel your passion and keeps you going to stay in this game.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're in this game and you don't get excited for figures, then what's the point of being in the game?
Well, I mean, it's not just even the figures, it's the fact that, you know, you look at everything, like how, for example, the three of us would never have got a chance to talk or meet or anything if Hot Toys never existed, really.
100% right. Yeah.
You know, it's, if I never watched Star Wars The Clone Wars when it first came out on Netflix, I never would have discovered Sideshow had the 1/6 Star Wars line, and I never would have gotten into the Star Wars community. Yeah, or not the Star Wars community, but the 1/6 community.
Yeah.
I never would have been involved with that at all. And, you know, you look at everything now, too. It's like this year has been crazy. We've already had 56 releases. Items that have already been done with production and they're going out to people. And that's a lot for this time period in the year.
Yeah, all the setbacks.
Yeah, and everybody's like, well, we haven't been getting anything. We haven't been getting anything. And it's like, okay, well, you know, we're already at 56. We have 5 months left.
Yeah.
August, September, October, November, December to go through for this year. Last year, we had the most amount of announcements and releases ever. And they gave us 81 releases, 100 announcements. You know, so this year we're already at 56 for releases. So we have 5 more months to go.
The bearded bear is preaching, everybody, if you haven't listened. Speaking of announcements, are you guys pumped for this shit? I am so excited. I couldn't have pre-ordered this thing fast enough today. I am so excited for this. So I figured I'd just give you guys, I mean, for those who haven't noticed, I thought I'd bring this up before we switch into the video. Actually three, but like two of the main ones that people were excited about dropped on Sideshow today. The first being the black suited Spider-Man from the PS5 Spider-Man 2 game. This figure itself comes in two versions. No, I do not want your $20 off right now. It comes in two versions. It comes in a collector's edition and a special edition, both at $305 with an expected ship date of October 23 to March 24. So this, I know a lot of people can argue, and I would be one of them, that like looking back on it, like the Joker was exciting. Did we see it coming? Yeah. Like if we didn't get it, I wouldn't be upset. And if we got it, I was like, oh wow, that's that. Like I was shocked they dropped the Joker on Monday along with Anakin. But aside from that, in terms of actual hype, like something like, damn, I'm getting like right away, it was this figure. This was the first one that I saw that I was like, I'm so excited about this. When I was a kid, I watched, I know, you know, from the comics also, but for me, a big adaptation of this was the 1990s, the animated Spider-Man show on, you know, I watched on like Saturday mornings and stuff, the late 90s one. And like, I know like this suit was one of them that I just loved this as a kid. I had like the old, like the toys of it and stuff. And so like, I was so excited when we got this, which means most likely Venom is going to be on his way, which is a great thing to have. But I mean, the sculpt itself, I'm not one that really cares about these little special edition things, but man, this thing is like,
you know, they asked Todd McFarlane what he thought about this Venom.
Oh, he loved it. Loved it. Yep. I saw that. He said he loved the design, and Todd McFarlane, he's a badass, man. I mean, if you Todd McFarlane, for those who don't know, he was brought onto Marvel, short story, but he basically created Venom. He was brought in right after the Secret Wars when Spider-Man had the black suit, and he didn't like Spider-Man having the black suit because he was like, Spider-Man is traditionally the blue and the red. So he liked the idea of the symbiote, but he's like, what could I do with the symbiote to get it off of Spider-Man? And he basically sketched out Venom and was like, hey, I got this idea for Venom. And like, that's kind of like, I mean, that's very like Cliff Notes, but that's kind of like how Venom was created, so to speak. I mean, so he is the co-creator of Venom. But
he also wanted Spider-Man to take a darker route.
Yeah. So, but that's like kind of like the short story of how Venom was created by Todd McFarlane. But guys, when you saw this, I mean, please tell me you guys were equally as excited. I mean, this thing is just
no, dude. I'm super excited for it. It's black suit symbiote Spider-Man. It's, you know, if anything, it was the suit that everybody begged for the PS4 game that we never got. So I'm glad that they incorporated in the new game, and I'm glad that we're actually getting a Hot Toys figure of the symbiote suit Spider-Man.
Yep, absolutely love it. I mean,
I can't wait. I was hoping that instead of the metal claws, we were going to get the symbiote tendrils for him.
Oh, like the Venom figure, but like a different version of it?
Because even in the game, with that 10-minute gameplay trailer, they showed you that instead of the legs, the robot legs, I guess you call them, spider legs, he had the symbiote tendrils coming out instead. But I could see why they're doing it, because it almost looks like the suit's not finished forming. It's like, you know, because you could see the symbiote wrapped around the legs. It's almost like it's still like, you know, morphing. Because that's why I'm wondering if that's why they also gave you the morphing head, is because it gives you that look where like he's still mid transformation. He's not completely enveloped with Venom.
It's interesting because I know you touched on it. You said it on Geeking Out. I saw it. It reminds me, because if you do zoom in on the details, you could see that. And what I loved about it is that I love the fact that the suit isn't perfectly shiny. It's not jet smooth like it is in the comics. Like, it's just black.
Yeah.
It looks like the suit overtook his original one to some extent. Hence why you see like the web wings are actually black. The tentacles have some stuff.
And if you zoom in on the suit, you can see the advanced
there's a lot of
pattern under it.
Correct.
And
100%.
And I figured that's why you get the mask with it enveloping over his spider mask. Is they did their take where it's like he puts on the suit and the symbiote goes around the suit, whereas in the comics, you know, he didn't wear the suit; it just developed his skin.
And that's what I hated about Tobey Maguire's suit. I just didn't like how I understand the concept of putting the black over the suit, which does theoretically make sense, but I didn't like that adaptation of it, that medium of how it was literally the. I just didn't like the way that suit looked personally. The black suit.
It just looked like an all black suit. It didn't look like
that's why I passed on the figure. I mean, aside from the figure, I just didn't like the design of that suit, but I do appreciate what they were trying to do. Real quick before I jump to Sean, I got to say, and I'm glad I had to save. We got a lot of people trickling in. Channel member Mike Latoris, I hope you're doing great, buddy. I really apologize. I actually would have asked you to come in. I thought Friday night. I thought you had something going on. I apologize. I was going to reach out to you and send you a link. I got to keep you in mind to come on. It's been a little bit. Ghostbusters Plus collector, how are you doing? Give him the woo there.
Big Dog Pound 1 just entered. You got to give him his video.
That's what I'm. You know me, man. I'm just backtracking on a few people because I'm seeing the woos. I'm like, wait a minute. There's people shouting out some woos right now. That must mean that there's somebody here, and that must mean Big Dog Pound is here. Now, Big Dog Pound, you're giving me a shout out there. Who are you going to call for the latest and greatest 1/6 scale news? Subscribe to Mr. Mom Collectibles. I appreciate that. I don't doubt, Big Dog, that you hit me up earlier with a woo, and I apologize. I missed that because we're doing stuff. But as always, you know, and I don't think anyone else in YouTube land has given you your own official video, but I have. So therefore, it's time, instead of just hitting you with a woo, why not hear it from the man himself, Ric Flair, right? So Big Dog Pound, that's for you, my brother. Thank you so much for being here. I know you were obviously here a lot earlier, but I apologize I missed that. Sean, before we move on, I just want to get your thoughts on the Spider-Man. What do you think about it? And I got to ask, because it trickled into my head, with the accessories, obviously there's a lot of ways to pose this thing. Are you getting it? And how many are you getting?
No. And
no,
zero.
You're not getting it at all.
No.
Really?
Oh, this is going to surprise the hell out of you.
Talk to me. You're not.
I am not a major Spider-Man fan.
Ooh. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna have to remove you from the stream right now. No, I can't. You're the beard.
But no, it's just for Marvel. It's always been Iron Man for me,
I
more than anything else. For DC, it's always been Batman more than anything else. So,
No,
Yeah,
I
not to mention the
feel you.
fact there is so much stuff I have ordered right now. It's just like I'm fighting the urge not to order another ATRT.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So,
I feel you on that because I'm actually trying to slim down my Marvel stuff. My Marvel stuff is contained to 2 shelves behind me. I'm not done with my display, but Iron Man's there, generic Marvel is there, and between the No Way Home, between the PS4, PS5, Spidey, I mean, I need to be a lot more selective with Marvel. I'm more into Star Wars. My Star Wars shelf is totally. I actually have figures sitting right here. Like I have the Boba Fett and Throne and Fennec literally sitting. They're like right here in front of me. I got figures all around here that like aren't fitting in the shelves, so I have to like expand. But I'm trying to cut down on Marvel, so I do feel you on that. I just kind of thought this is one that would have had your attention to definitely grab, like an exception.
no, I really do like it though. It's like completely unique. I love the style of it. I love how it shines and it actually shows like how it would Venom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and every time like I think of anything that looks like Venom, I have that voice in my head. Hello, Eddie. You know, I have that like going on. My daughter loves Venom also. I have 2 Venoms now.
Yeah, I do have a Venom myself, so I'm not going to sell it because I still love that figure. I don't even care if they make a new one with the symbol. I'll get that one too.
And I don't care what other people say either. I loved the Venom movies.
They weren't terrible.
The first
Carnage was a rough one, but
yeah, Carnage. You know, I can still appreciate it because one, it's Woody Harrelson in there.
Yep.
And he's one of my favorite actors. So, except for in White Men Can't Jump, he wasn't really that great in there.
Where is I want to get to now? Do you see yourself potentially ever picking that one up in the future, or probably not? You're going to stick with not getting it. The Venom, the Spider-Man. Do you see yourself maybe down the road something you could twist your arm to get it possibly?
No.
So now,
like my favorite version of Spider-Man has always been like the classic version, and when they came out with the video game version of the classic, and I got it, I've been happy. Like I have a couple of Spider-Man. Like I have 3 of the Iron Spider from Infinity War. And then, of course, I got that one from, what was it? The Homecoming, the same version that was in Civil War that I wanted because I wanted it with my Civil War collection.
Yeah, that's a kind of like a more classic Spider-Man until we saw that blue and red, the blue and red final from No Way Home. That's like my definitive Spider-Man as of right now that I'll be getting.
But I mean, I can appreciate Spider-Man. I loved all the movies. Mm-hmm. I thought they were great, especially the last one. And it's been kind of difficult to fight the urge for this long to not buy all of them. Especially, I'm a huge fan of Andrew Garfield's.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting those two, Andrew Garfield and Toby, or are you passing on those two?
I'm passing. It's hard, though, because it's like I want to buy them.
Yeah.
Just because I like and I appreciate the movie and everything else. But no, there's too much stuff that I've ordered and everything else. It's because I don't just collect like 1/6 scale stuff either. It's
yes.
I mean, I collect like this Black Series helmets.
HasLabs. No.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is I have to look at that. Is with the Ghost, I want to order 1 and I'm considering ordering 2.
Yeah. No, so that's what how many times do we say that to people out there? I mean, if you're just a 1/6 scale collector, there's nothing wrong with that because that's what you do. There's a lot of people who just do 1/6 scale, but a lot of us have branched out to where we collect other stuffs, and there's so many people fighting for your money. You know, Hot Toys wants your money, InArt wants your money, Jazz Inc. wants your money, Mars Toys does, So Toys, HasLab. You know, everybody wants your money. And you just have to be a responsible adult and figure out and find balance in the force, so to speak. Of you can't have everything. You dabble in a little bit of everything. You know, we're not all millionaires. You know, there's not that many of us out there that can say they own every single hot toy. Not everyone does. So you got to be selective and choose your. You got to pick your battles, so to speak, and understand what you want to collect. And there's nothing wrong with curating your collection. When I started out, I literally had no limits. I was buying anything that I saw that I wanted. I like this character. I'm buying.
And I made that mistake too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Going out everywhere, getting everything. All of a sudden, I'm like collecting Predator and Batman and all the Marvel, and then all the Sideshow clones from.
Absolutely.
And then
so
Hot Toys went into Star Wars, so I was trying to collect both Sideshow and Hot Toys Star Wars at the same time, and
there you go.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want we're going to talk about this and jump over, but I got a $5 super chat from Mike Latoris, a channel member. As always, I appreciate your support. He's just doubling back on Spider-Man by saying that the white spider on this makes even more sense than the comic because it's mimicking the white spider on Peter's suit in the game. Like I said, I mean, that's a great touch, and that's a figure that I honestly, and I think CMB, you can agree, can't wait to get that one in person just to see the details on it, because I have the original integrated suit. I have the the Mark 1, if you want to call that, and I didn't get this 2.0 just because I just didn't need it. There's
no point. It's the same suit with legs.
Exactly. That figure holds a very special meaning. There's a few figures that hold special meaning to me. One of them is the John Wick, and the other one is the Spider-Man, only because that Spider-Man was actually the third hot toy I ever bought. John Wick was number 2, and number 1 was the Iron Man Mark 43. Number 2 was John Wick, and number 3 was the advanced suit Spider-Man. So that suit has a very special place in my collection that I really do love. Didn't you have a figure in a box as your mouse pad? That was Sean, right?
Yes. I held my it was a 501st Deluxe Clone Trooper. I didn't even realize it was still in the box. I thought, I had emptied the box, and so I would have my Chromebook on top of it when I would sit down on my couch. And then I was like, one day I picked it up. I was like, wow, this is unusually heavy, and I open it up, and it was never opened before.
That's unbelievable. It's just there's no words for that. I remember that was so funny. The collector says I collect everything. Yeah, I am jealous. Yeah, and the collector says I collect everything, which that's absolutely. Mike also says I'm all in the Ghost, and I have all the Hasbro helmets, the 332 and the Scout are the latest and greatest. So good. Mike, for that super chat, I want to hit you with a thank you, my friend. What do I got? I'll give you.
You've never played mine.
What did you do? You did.
I did a video for you.
Me?
Super chats. Yeah, I sent it to you.
You never sent it to me.
Yes, I did.
When did you send me a video?
I don't know. Let's go through the billions of freaking comments and videos here we've sent each other.
All right. Well, you dig that up, and I'll have that on cue for maybe the next time. But in the meantime, I'll hit you with a little Back to the Future. Thank you.
That's everything. Thanks. Thank you. In about 30 years? I hope so.
There you go. So when Sean finds his Sean stripped, it's probably a foot. It's probably a foot video, if I had to guess. About feet here.
And I just marked where it's at for you.
Oh, there it is. I'm gonna have to upload that. I don't know if I can get it on the stream for this one, but I do see the video now. I'll upload that, and I'll make sure I have. I didn't know you were sending me a video. I apologize about that, my friend. Doc was legit like, what is human contact? So real fast, I only want to spend a couple of minutes on this one because I want to kind of get back on track with some of the things I want to talk about. The Mark 7 Iron Man. This is one that's up for pre-order also. It dropped like right after Spider-Man. It comes with 2 versions as well, collectors and special. The special edition is the little hologram of the Tony Stark Tower. Expected ship date July 24 to December 24 with a price of $400. Won't lie, didn't think it was going to be $400. I thought it was going to be like $450, $460, maybe even pushing $500 just because the suit ups. So I'm actually kind of relatively surprised of it being $400. Granted, you go through Sideshow, tax, shipping, it's going to push you back up to probably around like $450, $460. But if you have rewards and stuff, you can knock that price down. But I was a little surprised about it. I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but surprised to say the least. For me, I love it. This Hot Toys must have heard what I said, because my rule of thumb going forward was I have a cutoff of pre-orders for Marvel that I have right now, and anything going forward, I'm only looking at obviously Iron Man figures, but more specifically original 7. So if they do anything with the original 7, like I know there's rumors there was summer showcase for like a Mark II something like that, that would have obviously had my interest because I would like to obtain the original 7 figures. I do have the 4. I'm sorry, I have the 5, I have the 7, and I have the 1-3 on order. So like I'm not trying to, but one way or another. But I like the idea that they're doing with the the idea of the exposed armor attaching onto him. It would have been cool if, and I've heard people say this, would have been cool if you got an option of just Tony Stark by himself, because he actually looks pretty good just by himself, like without the suit. I know we haven't had like a solo Tony Stark figure since like Iron Man 3, like the mechanic and even like the workshop version. So it would have been cool just to have an Iron Man figure by himself. I'll just end it. The sculpt doesn't look good to me. I appreciate what Hot Toys is doing because I think that we've had so many Tony Stark head sculpts. This reminds me of the Mark 6, where they're trying to now do like new facial expressions, like something different that we haven't seen. Unfortunately, this figure, it looks like, if you're looking at this photo, he doesn't look good on the left. I would swipe right. I would, in terms of what I'd want. The one on the right looks good, but the one on the left doesn't. He just looks older. I know people can say like, oh, well, he'll soften up in production, but it doesn't need work. There's something off about it. Hair doesn't look bad. Kind of has that poofy style, but whenever they do open mouths, yeah, it does kind of take away from the character. Like even I just got the Back to the Future Marty part 3, and he has his mouth kind of open and he looks a little bit off because it's a natural, I guess. It's not an expression we're used to. But what are you guys feeling about this in terms of, I know, Sean, you did pre-order this today. I did. And this is one of those, Sean, where I think you and I agreed about Supergirl. If this is what we got and this is the final product, I can't complain. Like, we know what we're getting up front. I do hope that this gets tooled back a little bit. And that's all I'll say, and I'll leave it to you.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, is if you look at the Iron Man Mark V suit-up version, this is $5 cheaper than that.
Yeah.
So I have considered with the Iron Man Mark 6, if that head sculpt is better, is switching it out with that head sculpt in this one and doing that. However, it just depends on how I'm really going to pose it. If I'm going to pose it with him falling, then I definitely want to keep this head sculpt on it.
Yeah. Like achieving that pose is going to be interesting because even on the video we saw at the event, they had him more like upright. They didn't have him falling. They had him more like vertical, just to, I guess, obviously to show the figure off. But I mean, I wasn't a fan of the stand that they had him on. They had him on a regular octagon, small little plastic display base, which I wasn't too keen on because depending on how you have this figure, I could see this thing falling over 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of a we'll see what happens thing.
Yeah,
I'm just happy that they're innovating like this.
Yes, I agree 100%. Absolutely.
And this does look like it would be better than the Mark V suit up version because that has several problems and several things loose. I like how you can tell parts do move on this, which is important. And plus, that pose right there would be good.
Might have to find an aftermarket Black Sabbath shirt.
It's what it is in one way. I'm ordering it because I want it. And that's it. If I have to switch the head sculpt for the Mark 6 that I have on order, then I will.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't have to.
Yeah. CMB, what do you think?
Easy pass for me. I'm not an Iron Man fan.
Fair enough. I respect that. Everyone's got their niches, and this isn't one of them. Absolutely. Whereas Louis says, if you had to choose Mark 5 suit up or Mark 7, for me, it's the 7.
And it would be the 7
that's
well for me.
The 7 is not my favorite suit. The Mark 3 is my favorite suit, but between the 7 and the 5, I would choose this. If this is the way that we I would take the 7 because for me, they're both iconic suit ups. Personally, they're pretty badass suit ups, but I like the 7 because I also like the look you're getting with this. I'm not a fan of like the racing suit style. I had the 5 suit up on pre-order. And I canceled it. And I know, Sean, you gave a review on it, and you let us know, like, some of the pieces weren't that great. It was a little difficult. You had 2 of them, actually. Don't you have 2 of them?
Yeah, I have the regular and then the deluxe version.
Yeah.
And the problem is the tail piece keeps coming down. Even the small piece that goes on the non-deluxe version keeps falling out. I ended up having to glue it in. And that was really annoying.
Yeah.
But
let me pull up. All right, there's two more things I want to cover, and then we'll kind of wrap up because, it's like I said, it's Friday night, and I want to go over. I might skim through it, but there's this video that came out. Let me share my screen. For those who haven't seen it, there's no audio to be played because it's all in subtitles anyway. But there's a video that it's this video here. Let me mute this. Oops. There's this video. This is a video of the InArt Joker. And so this is basically a video, with Howard Chan and I think one of the other creators of the Joker, and they're basically talking. And the subtitles, guys, if you're gonna watch this, I mean, you got to watch it almost like pause it because they're talking so fast that the subtitles keep coming up. So we're just gonna kind of talk over it. But this is on Hot Toys official page, and this is basically just talking about the insight to the Joker and basically the thought process behind it, and obviously. I got a kick out of the first question because the first question that they asked Howard Chan was, what made you revisit the Joker? And I'm like, InArt was my first answer. But they're basically saying that they always had intentions of redoing the Joker and other things have come up. And now they decided to revisit it and kind of get some ideas. And Derek right there, seek director Derek for his advice on what they could do with the Joker. Coincidental timing, I'm sure. But it was interesting to see this. It's like a 10-minute video, but they're just basically going through the process of the Joker, and it was interesting. And like I said, I'm not trying to say I'm calling bullshit, but listen, I mean, if anything, it's a very strategically planned out video because they're talking about ideas about the Joker and that, they're basically answering some of the questions about the tongue, and that they went through a lot of video clips to kind of indicate certain poses and gestures and things like that they wanted to do with the figure. Because there's a lot going on. He's kind of talking about that. His makeup changes from scene to scene. He was very expression throughout the whole movie. So it's basically, them trying to figure out a couple iconic poses. And they do call out specifically that the sculpt was meant to do a few interesting poses. Like one of them is the scene with the grenades, like right when he pulls the grenades out. And like even then when he combs his hair back, like they were trying to pick specific framed moments throughout the movie to say like this figure can capture those. Honestly, guys, whether you believe it or not, that's up to the viewer to decide. If you think it's just all bullshit because InArt came out with one and they're trying to like put a puff piece together, by all means, it doesn't bother me. I did think it was an interesting video. I'm not trying to fanboy it right now, but there's one or two things. One thing I definitely thought was interesting, and Howard Chan did this. I don't know if you guys caught two things, and I don't know where one of them is, but they were talking to the guy Derek about basically his insight. He's talking here about the makeup and stuff. But did you notice he made one point when I think there was when they were talking about the clothing, like how to make the clothing, how it was separate pieces. And I don't know if he made a comment about mass production.
I did hear that. And I got the impression they're making more.
If they ever decide to go into mass production. Now he could mean the 4,000, or he could mean legitimate mass production down the road on other figures. I thought that was an interesting one. I'm not trying to read too much into it, but when he made that statement, I thought that was interesting. And the other thing I thought was funny, and Howard Chan does it, he makes a comment, doesn't say it by name, but he's like, there's other Jokers on the market that are basically comparing theirs to the DX11. And he's like, it's not a fair comparison because the DX11, they used a standard 1/6 scale body for the time that everything else was using. And now they're saying that they kind of retooled the body to be more accurate to Heath Ledger's height in scale. And he did that comparison. He's like, he's seen a lot of people using theirs against the DX11, and it's not a fair comparison. I thought that was an interesting, sculpt. And and this is another one is that they use an aftermarket head sculpt by Lulo. Apparently they've reached out for that person's approval if they could use the sculpt and kind of tool it and kind of I don't want to use the word update, but basically take it and as a base and tweak it a little bit. And they did say that in the video that they asked for permission by this, I guess, sculptor. I know he's like I don't know too much about it, but like what do you call it? Custom. And they use that as a foundation, so to speak. They did say that in the video, which I thought was interesting. But did you guys have did this kind of I mean, it was an interesting video. I do like watching these. I watched the InArt ones too. I do enjoy the behind the scenes process on this. Does this take away from anything from you guys watching this, like CMB watching this video? Did it open up any more insight, or were you intrigued by it, or it was just kind of like, yeah, it is what it is, behind the scenes stuff, kind of move on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a. I don't know. I got a different opinion on it more than behind the scenes. It gave the way they were touching on it about different clothing, mass production, how they're particularly focusing on different facial expressions, along with how they were specifically pointing out where the makeup looks like it's melted.
Yeah.
It gave me the impression we're probably going to see more Jokers.
I thought the same thing, actually.
Different versions, for example, the nurse is the first one that came to my mind. What was that, CMB?
Same thing. That's what I said, Nurse Joker.
Yeah. And then I started thinking too, okay, could we get him in the police uniform? Are we looking at another bank robber Joker? I mean, there's so many different options to think about there of what they could really be doing.
Yep.
Could they be looking at, behind the bars version of Joker, kind of like what InArt did? I don't know. It created more questions for me than it did give answers, but I actually do appreciate something like this being done.
They have to go all in with it, and obviously people can. And this is I scrubbed it to here because I said we don't have to watch the whole video. This is on the Hot Toys page if no one has seen it. But this is them talking about the body, and then you see there's the DX11. On screen next to the new one, and you'll see Howard Chan pulls it off, and he makes a point which I thought was interesting for him to. Like I said, I'm not trying to read too much into it, but it was interesting how he basically said there's other ones on the market that are comparing, which people did do that comparison, and that's where I'll wrap up the conversation when we show off some of the InArt stuff from yesterday, because the Superman really blew me away, but people are already doing it, and I posed this on my YouTube channel. On my front page, I made a poll about it. I have to see where the numbers are. Well, not a lot of people voted, but it was kind of dead even. But I thought it was interesting how when the Joker came out for InArt, people were comparing it to the DX11. And it was obviously, and right here, he's saying our previous DX11 was produced according to the standard height for 1/6 scale figure. And this is what he does. He takes the figure and he says, now look at the new one. And the comment that he says is, they adjusted to reflect the actor's real height. Yeah, you could tell the height and the proportion differences. And yet we are aware the Joker figures available in market have taken reference from our DX11. So I just thought that was interesting that he was willing to go to, to kind of say that without calling too much out. Obviously, there's third-party Jokers, there's custom. I'm not just saying InArt. There's other stuff out there, but it's good to note that it was actually noted there. But yeah, it was an interesting video. I like the behind-the-scenes stuff. It offers insight. As I said, people watching can just be like, "Hey, it's smoke and mirrors because InArt's out and they have to do all this." That's fine. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. And he said, and Uncarted Review says, I thought they did the police disguise Joker as an exclusive already.
Yeah, but that thing's so old.
And it could use a like realistically, every Heath Ledger Joker could use a retool if they really want to go down that route. For me personally, the pissing match that people are doing between InArt and Joker. Oh, hello. I don't know, pop it up right there. But I kind of hope that we move past the purple coat Joker after this. I'm okay if we do bank robbers and police and stuff like that. But I kind of hope that we move past the purple coat Joker. And speaking of, I'll just wrap up with some photos. These were like high-res photos from the event. And I just want to scrub through. And I know we didn't talk about the Flash, but I mean, this definitely changed my opinion a little more. I was skeptical about the Joker, but there was a couple things on here that I really liked. And one is that there was actual weathering on the coat. At least you can see from the display, the promo pictures. And a lot of people said they didn't think that, it was really weathered well, but like you see all weathering up here on the coat. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And I know this definitely turned some heads, seeing the hair really well done. The only problem that I have with this figure rooted is I do think that there's just too much hair on top. I mean, I keep saying this. Heath Ledger's hair was thinning, so this hairline here is technically more recessed. So I got to say InArt does have that a little more accurate in my opinion, of course. But this figure isn't due out for another year. It doesn't mean that Hot Toys can't go back. It's just a prototype. There's no mass production yet. They could go back and just hear the feedback and clean this up. Completely possible. But I know people saw these photos. People were very excited about it. And Boba says the same thing. Yes, enough purple coat for now. Let's get Joker cops and Nurse Jokers. Yeah, can we get an 89? I know Peyton just said, can we do an 89, please? That's what I'm excited about is a rooted hair 89. I'll pay an absurd amount of money for that. But guys, I want to wrap up because we have like 10 minutes left or so. I want to wrap up with this event here. And I want to be, like I said, I want to be fair to all parties. And InArt also, I know we kind of spent more time on Hot Toys, but I want to jump over. And InArt had an event too. I believe they had a showcase event where they were just showing off, existing products. As you see here, like the receipt, and which really funny is that, guys, I was talking about the Joker with the receding hairline. When I first saw this photo, I honestly thought this was the Hot Toys one because the hair actually here looks exactly like the Hot Toys figure. I don't know if that's just me. I'm crazy. But like this doesn't have like that receding hairline. It could just be the angle, the way the hair is styled. But I looked at this real quick. I was like, oh, I had to do a double take. Showed off Pennywise, things like that. And then we got some interesting stuff. Once again, the Batman. To be fair, this will probably be the next pissing match between Pennywise and the Batman. I mean, we're not done between the InArt Hot Toys thing comparisons. I know when Pennywise comes out, people will compare that to the Hot Toys one. And then when this comes out, there'll be comparisons to it. It's just the nature of the beast. So we just got to, work through it. Oops. But the one thing I wanted to show off is the Batman. I mean, can't deny. I mean, I'm liking what I see, and the stuff looks really good. Bat Signal, Batman, there's Harry Potter. I'm specifically trying to go through a couple things. That's why I don't mean to be disrespectful and skipping through. But this right here, I'm showing off just two figures. One is the Superman, and one will be the Michael Jackson. As with everybody else, I saw this one, and we all agreed. CMB, you weren't a fan of the sculpt. I wasn't. Sean, I don't know how you felt about it. I just was kind of like everybody. I think the likeness was all. I mean, it's Henry Cavill. You look at it, I think it's Henry Cavill, but there's just something off about it. It needs to be tweaked. And the suit too, like the colors were off. I thought the logo was a little too small. I mean, I gave it a 7 as its first, like, here you go, with room to improve. But then when I saw this sculpt personally, I was like, holy shit. Like that, I personally was like, damn, that's a really good sculpt. Like that is better than the Hot Toys one, in my opinion, the angry sculpt. I didn't like the Hot Toys one, but I saw this and I was really I was much more impressed with it. And then seeing it up close like this with the flying pose with the cape and everything, it was a little more impressive for me. And also the body looks a little bit more proportionate. I'm interested. Superman would be the first InArt figure. If I was to dive into it, this would be the first one, but I really want to see final prototype photos before I see this. But Sean, I mean, jump to you real fast. Like, I mean, when you saw this, like the Superman, for example, I mean, what kind of, were you enticed at all about it, or really kind of like, it is what it is. It's kind of over and done with, kind of what did you think about it when you saw the Superman?
I was impressed with how the body looks.
Yeah.
This looks really good. Also, it reminds me of kind of when he's not wanting to snap his neck, Zod's neck, kind of. Is giving me like that thought process from that scene.
Yeah.
I could be wrong what scene it is, but no, InArt did a good job.
Oops, sorry. I'm sorry.
On that. However, the normal sculpt does look off.
It looks rough. It looks like they made him a little bit too young, and his cheekbones aren't right. It looks almost like very plasticky, if that makes sense. To me, at least. The paint app on it just looks, there's something off about it. It's hard for me to pinpoint. I know people say the eyes are too close together. I don't know what it is. There's something about it that just looks off to me.
But the hair does look good.
Yeah, it does.
They did a good job with that, and Cavill's hairline and everything. So they did a good job with that.
Yeah. CMB, what are you thinking? I know you were a little more heavy critical on it, which I was too about it. But seeing like the angry sculpt, that really kind of changed your perception. I mean, I'm not really putting you in a position of would you get by this figure or not, just in terms of what you see, though, in terms of not necessarily from a purchasing standpoint, but in terms of what you see on the screen. Now that we saw like kind of like the angry sculpt, does that kind of change a little bit? And seeing it in person, does that kind of sway you a little bit in terms of, oh yeah, that's actually a pretty decent looking figure compared to, or you're kind of stuck where you are and got to see some more information on it?
Well, I mean, the angry sculpt looks really good. I can't deny that.
Yeah.
The standard one still stands the same. Still looks off. Everything else with the costume, I've already told you before, looks off to me. But I mean, anybody who's getting them and wants them, congratulations, awesome. For me, it's just a pass.
Understood. Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I'm toggling back and forth between it just feels different, doesn't it? I mean, I know it's different
It's
expression.
like two different people.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
It,
where
it looks completely like two. I didn't mean to be doing this, by the way. I was just flicking. It looks like two completely different people. I mean,
Yep.
and for me, if I was to get this, I would probably display it how you see it because I love the way the cape drapes. I like the way the cape is. It does remind me of more of a Justice League kind of Zack Snyder style. And I just like that flying pose. I have my Justice League Superman in a standard up and down museum pose. And that's something that I want to kind of bring up to people. And I do want to pose this question to you, CMB, and Sean, you, and I put it in a couple group chats. So I watched a couple other YouTube streams, and I know this InArt thing is going to get this Superman is going to get talked about definitely down the road. Obviously, this is the BVS Superman. I've seen people comparing this to the Hot Toys Justice League. They're different suits, technically. If you want to be technical, apples to apples. That figure came out in like 2019, 2020, because I got it in 2020 right before it sold out. If you want to compare this to the BVS Hot Toys that came out in 2015, it was announced. So you're talking almost 8 years. Is it fair in general, general, is it fair in general for people to be using that as a comparison, comparing this InArts to the Hot Toys ones? Because there's pretty well the year gap between figure releases it's pretty good. It's not like the Joker where there's literally two of them on the market where you can do direct comparisons. For me, I don't, and I know people out there will say, well, if it was Hot Toys, people would do the same thing. That's cool. I'm talking about me. I personally wouldn't compare them because I don't think it's a fair comparison, because I think InArt should be superior at this moment because they've had 5-6 years to perfect the figure, or 5 years ahead of the technology. But like, Sean, do you see it that way when people make comparisons of like this to the Justice League Superman? Do you find it a fair comparison?
No, just because of the time. Just like, for example, people would compare the Hot Toys clones to the Sideshow clones. Yeah. Well, at the time that the Sideshow clones were out, that was like the top thing. Nobody complained about how they were, and their bodies weren't falling apart right away. They got loose later on. So no, it's, but I'll give InArt credit. This does look really good.
Yeah.
However, if we're going to compare it, I'm happy with my BVS Batman.
Me too. Absolutely. And I have the Justice League one. I'm totally happy with it as well. But I will admit, I'm interested in getting this. I will admit that 100%.
And if I would get this or not, more than likely, no. But I do appreciate the art into it.
Absolutely.
I actually like this more than I do the Joker, and I'm a huge fan of the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, that's what's funny is that the Joker didn't really grab my attention as much at first. This one grabbed my attention immediately when I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. So yeah, it is interesting. And the one thing that I argue, and people kind of gave me some shit for it, but I'm just fair, is that by the time this figure comes out, I'm interested to see what the interest level is on these, because InArt, I know, is doing figures of the past. Like, so they're supposed to be doing the BVS Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. Will that interest level of those figures still be there in years to come? Because literally you won't see those figures for another couple of years, literally. Peyton says that BVS Batman is probably coming. No, it probably is. But by the time it gets teased, prototype, released, you're probably not looking for another 2-3 years probably. So I'm curious to know it's a rhetorical question, the interest level of people, because by that time we're going to have a new Superman. I know for a lot of people, Henry Cavill is their Superman. He is mine. And it's just a rhetorical question, not really opening up for a debate, because I just want to wrap up a little bit. But I want to kind of end on one that people have also been talking about, and by the way, this InArt display is really bothersome. Like, I don't know what they were going with, like the metallic in the back, the shiny. It was really, really bothersome for me. But do we have the pictures of we don't. We have the Michael Jackson. We had the Michael Jackson. I don't know who posted pictures of the InArt Michael Jackson. Can't find that anywhere. But either way, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I wanted to keep it an hour and a half. I don't mean to cut it short, but I wanted to kind of wrap it up there. But they did do that. I don't mean to cut the stream short, but I did want to kind of cap it at an hour and a half. We kind of could have kept going a lot longer. I know, Don, you're saying you're feeling generous. I don't even know what that means. I'm almost afraid to ask. I really am. I don't know. What do you mean by that, Don? You got about 5 more minutes. So what does that mean that you're about feeling generous? What does that mean? You got about 5 minutes before we wrap up, because my daughter's like, she's crying, trying to go to bed, and I'm keeping her awake. But But CMB and Sean, I appreciate you guys coming on as always. Just kind of shooting the shit. Really not, we're just kind of off cuff stream putting this together. I only put it together a couple hours ago. That's really it. Would you guys have any final thoughts before we kind of wrap up here? CMB or Sean?
Nope.
No,
not really. Just collect what you want to. Don't worry about other people, their opinions.
Yeah.
Do what you want. That's the biggest thing. This is your collection, not theirs.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, don't go into credit card debt for collecting.
No, it's not worth going into credit card debt for collecting at all. He says prizes incoming. Don, I'm gonna have to probably cap you there because I'm probably gonna end the stream in a minute. So whatever idea you were coming up with, which seems really ass random, you might gonna have to hold it for the next stream because we are gonna end it in a minute or so. But I do appreciate everyone in the chat. I do appreciate the super chats. I appreciate those. We had a good amount of people in the live chat along with us. Thanks so much for a great stream, Boba Fettuccini. Thank you so much. Awesome. Hey, man, I'm not trying to steal you. I don't know if you're going to be a regular on Collecting Joey. If you ever want to come on here, Boba, I'd love to have the beard on. You can join the band of beards. So if you ever want to come on, let me know. I'm not trying to steal you away from anybody. I'm not that kind of person. So if you want, Uncarded review, good live stream. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested, I made a video about 2 days ago more about the whole InArt Hot Toys thing. It wasn't necessarily a reaction to the Joker, but more about the idea and the philosophy of the exclusivity of figures and going forward and what that can mean for collecting. It's just a little more of an in-depth video if you guys are interested to check that out. He says, cool, I'm humbled. Yeah, by all means. I love bringing people in, bringing Mike and other people in. I'm talking to a couple of people. Not to do anything exclusive, just like to bring people in. I love differences of opinions. I usually stream with the same guys over and over again because we're all friends here. We all talk outside of the channel, but it's also nice to have differences of opinions and people that you don't really get to talk to as often, have them on stream and hear what they have to say. So that's kind of my whole philosophy. But I do really appreciate it, everybody, as always. I won't be streaming Sunday because I got stuff to do. I have a baptism to go to, hence why we're doing it Friday night. But I'll try to do one next week, see what's going on, if there's any updates with Hot Toys and things like that. I got a couple ideas of some videos in the works. But like I said, guys, I really do appreciate everyone taking the time on a Friday night. We're going to cap it here. And everyone have a good rest of your night. I'll end it with another thank you video. And we are going to see you guys on the next stream. Let's take it out with a little Back to the Future. Thank you.
That's everything. Thanks. Thank you. In about 30 years,